And let's up our game when we're playing against toxic narcissists. And let's learn a few bootcamp self-defense techniques. Now, welcome to bootcamp. And the first rule of engagement is knowing your limit. And when we first start on this path, like we can't expect ourselves to be, have a superhero level of emotional mastery. It's just not realistic. Eventually we will, but at first it's going to be almost impossible just to shrug off their hurt. So at that point, it's time to be a bit more strategic. And maybe it's time for a strategic retreat. Yeah, that's right. Knowing when to gracefully exit a battlefield is actually a sign of strength, not weakness. There's no point getting into the ring with a heavyweight champion of negativity because, narcissists are these master wordsmiths and they've perfected the art of throwing verbal punches. We can't get into the ring and get all these punches left, right, and center. So we actually have the power to say, no, thank you. You can stay where you are. I'm going to go over there for a little while and then just gracefully bow out of any toxic conversation. Just imagine yourself, with the ability of being able to do a backflip out of any situation at a moment's notice. And it's your way of saying, hard no, swipe left. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. Walking away from these toxic dynamics actually takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of strength because deep down, narcissists thrive on getting a rise out of you. What they want to see is that their words leave a mark. They want to see that those verbal punches that they're throwing have penetrated, and they want to see hurt and they want to see suffering. And I know it's not right, but when you know that it's not right, then all of a sudden we can take a different look. We can take a different tactic because at the end of the day, we can outsmart them, and we can outsmart them by not falling for any of their tricks. We can say, hell no. When we find ourselves in these situations, what we could be is like those magicians that can unlock chains and handcuffs and just escape any situation. And the people watching will be like, wow, those handcuffs looked really secure. How did you get out of them? And by doing that, we're showing to the narcissist that their tactics don't work on us anymore. We're reclaiming our power and we're refusing to engage in their twisted little mind games. So don't be fooled by anyone who claims that walking away is a sign of weakness. Think of it more as a strategic maneuver that requires immense self-awareness and strength. And it's more about safeguarding our own emotional well-being and our own mental health. And it's about declaring to the world that, that's not my toxic circus and those aren't my murder clowns. All right, so we're going to keep going. We're going to dive deeper into mastering the art of setting boundaries and responding with confidence. What we're going to do is learn the lost warrior art of resilience. Because if you think about it, we actually have the power to control the narrative. And no narcissistic blowhard can take that away from us. Like never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever. We're going to go supernova now. And we're going to drop some serious truth onto the world on how to handle heated situations and just become masters of the art of tactical retreats. Now imagine this, you're in the midst of a toxic debate and things are just getting hotter and hotter and escalating more and more, and you feel like you're just on the verge of exploding. Here's the secret weapon, and it's the power of a hang-up. Yeah, so if things are spiraling out of control and you're feeling like those emotions are going to make you explode, don't hesitate just to hang up the phone, because hanging up is just a great way of just saying no. Or you can get all witty with them. You can say, hey, I'm sorry, I gotta go, there's a serial killer on the door and I really want to see what they want. And then boom, we've exited the minefield and we're off the battlefield, leaving them on the other side, just dumbfounded. And it leaves you feeling like the boss's boss's boss. The lesson being is that when we walk away from toxic conversations, it's actually a bold move of self-preservation. It's like a strategic retreat to recharge just our emotional arsenal. So, don't let anyone guilt trip you into saying, oh, you're running away. No, you know better than that. By removing ourselves from these toxic environments, we're actually refusing to let their negativity seep into our souls. We're protecting our energy. We're saying, I deserve better than this nonsense and you're nonsense. And you can stay way the hell over there. Now, if they're still on you and they keep questioning your swift exit, then, you give them a quick comeback. You can channel your inner archangel warrior and just say, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I'm choosing not to surround myself with people who speak to me like that. And then it's just like a classic, mic drop. Oh, jeez. I think that hit my keyboard. I really should rethink some of my metaphors. It's all about you being in your power and taking your own control back. Because, turning your heels and walking away is just a straightforward way to just get away. It's like having a getaway car or finding your own little cozy sanctuary that you can retreat to. And here's the kicker. Once you're in the safety of your own space, that's actually a really good place where you can just let it all out. And if you need to scream, if you need to cry, if you need to unleash a tornado of rage, do it. That's a safe place to do it, because, think of it as your own emotional release party. And it just needs to be you and maybe an innocent pillow. Maybe an innocent pillow could be a bed. Whatever it is, give yourself the permission to feel and to process those emotions, knowing that you will emerge victorious. And if it takes, every single Kleenex in a box, fine. Use every single Kleenex. Use it. Because at the end of it, the emotions don't want to be here. They want to be out into the world. And if they need to leak out of our eyeballs, then so be it. You stay true to yourself. You protected yourself and your well-being, and you refuse to let their toxicity penetrate your inner fortress of self-love. So now in this part of this video, what we're going to do is just delve into the art of regaining our power and regaining control over our reactions. So stick with me, because we're about to rewrite the rules of engagement. And remember, we hold the key to our own emotional sanctuary, and no one can take that away from us. No one is going to outshine us. All right, let's dive deep into this uncharted territory of this whole self-awareness. And for some, these are going to be treacherous waters, and they're going to be full of triggers, and they're going to be full of vulnerability. But inside that mess, what we're going to do is we're going to create an emotional compass, a little map of all our wounds, so we can see them, we can map them, we can know where they are. Then later on, when we're face to face with like a certifiably insane button pusher, it's like they're possessed by the dark arts of just emotional manipulation, and they just know exactly where our weaknesses are, where our weak spots are. And then 99.9 times out of 100, they're going to go straight for the emotional jugular, armed with words that are just going to kind of cut like a sword. But fear not. We're about to turn the tables on these emotional vampires, because we're already ahead of the game. It's like, if they're a vampire, we're going to put on a garlic necklace, because those wounds that they've been using to control us, those little strings, we're going to cut each and every one of them. And as we do, we're going to get more and more control. Then we're going to get more control. And then before you know it, we can dance our own dance. We're going to live our own lives. And to do that, what we're going to do is master the art of the response. We must first understand where our battle scars are, and then take a deep introspective dive and discover, where the stings are, what hurts the most. And these hurtful words, why do they hurt? Which one of our wounds are leaving us vulnerable and exposed? Vulnerable to their manipulation, vulnerable to their tactic. This is where we can kind of just put on our Columbo hat and just identify the puzzle pieces of our internal emotional landscape, and then put them together exactly where they need to be. Because here's the thing, when we react impulsively, it's often because we're in the dark about our own wound. We know we're hurt, and we can't quite put a finger on why it affects us so deeply. But once we shine a spotlight into our own vulnerabilities, once we acknowledge and embrace them, we kind of unlock the power of self-mastery. And what it ends up becoming is that we discover that loving ourselves deeply from the inside and out helps us just embark on this quest to understand every nook and cranny of our emotional terrain. We're actually going to become BFFs with our own triggers, with our own vulnerabilities, with our own scars. We're going to familiarize ourselves with them, find where they're hiding, find their little secret chambers, and by doing so, we're going to equip ourselves with the tools to navigate through treacherous waters and respond like the warriors that we are. This is when we become like our own parent. And I don't mean a version of the parents that we had growing up, but a version of the parents that we needed. And we're going to do that like right now, in this moment, in this present moment. And by parenting ourselves through these wounds, it's going to be an ultimate act of self-care. When those triggers get activated, we become our own loving parent. And we end up wrapping ourselves up in just this loving blanket of self-compassion and understanding, reminding ourselves that we're worthy of love and respect. And no matter what those button pushers say, we know what's true. We know what's real. All right, so we're going to keep going now. It's time to uncover the secrets of crafting powerful and empowering responses that leave these emotional pyromaniacs scratching their heads. How did this happen? So stay tuned for that, because it's coming right up. And I'm just asking you to like, follow, share, comment, because now's the time that we're going to revolutionize the way we navigate through our own inner landscape. We're going to embrace our wounds, know our triggers, and become the heroes of our own story. All right, here we go. We're going to become the masters of boundary setting and basically turn ourselves into emotional warrior. We're about to unravel some of the remaining secrets that will arm you with the tools to navigate the treachery of toxic interactions. But first and foremost, let's remind ourselves of the cardinal rule, that hurt people hurt people. Yeah, I know I've said it earlier and I've posted about it before, but I'm just going to say it again because it's just that important. And keep that truth close to your heart as we navigate this emotional abuse recovery path. Remember that hurtful words and actions spewed by, these miserable souls have nothing to do with you. It's merely their twisted way of trying to alleviate their own suffering. And when you internalize this knowledge, you can shield yourselves and deflect their toxicity and create a safeguard for yourself, your physical safety, your emotional safety, your financial safety, and your own inner peace coming in this way.